Good afternoon to you. I'm Shannon Cake sitting in for John Bachman today. The FBI says it thwarted an ISIS-inspired plot to bomb the New York State Capitol and kill lawmakers there. A 35-year-old Albany woman accused now of pledging allegiance to ISIS. Prosecutors claim Jessica Bowie scouted the Capitol and was preparing an explosive device before agents moved in. She's been charged now with one count of attempting to provide material support to a designated foreign terrorist organization. In a criminal complaint filed in federal court, the FBI says agents reviewed social media posts Bowie had shared with anti-American messages in them. Prosecutors say her actions are unacceptable.
The allegations in this complaint are deeply disturbing. That someone would harbor such hatred toward our way of life and seek to target the New York State Capitol and New York State senators, that's an attack on democracy itself, and one we will not tolerate.
Well, let's welcome in now retired FBI Supervisory Special Agent Chris Hinkle, also with us today. Retired NYPD Detective, former Joint Terrorism Task Force member Tom Smith. Gentlemen, good afternoon to you. It's just an incredibly disturbing case here. Federal prosecutors say she surveilled the Capitol building there, took photographs. I believe we have some video of that, surveillance video of that, focused on attacking the lawmakers while they were inside specifically, and then bought bomb-making materials, including nails that, details now surfacing suggest was going to be used as shrapnel. Discussed actually hiding one of the explosives inside a food delivery bag. Listen to this.
Miss Bowie didn't just want to kill lawmakers. She wanted a complete disruption of our government. And after that, she planned to flee the country and one day come back to, quote, do more, such as New Year's Eve in Times Square, even stating she would come back to attack the White House and the president, but only after she bombed the state capitol.
Tom, it appears that investigators here have a lot of meat on the bone with this.
Yeah, they do, and they did a fantastic job, not only just looking and finding it, but expanding it more to get the play involved in this, so going forward with the plan. And this was just not a thought. This was a well laid out plan from execution to getting bomb-making materials to fleeing the country, and then even a broader plan that she had going on. So this was a phenomenal job by the Albany office in not only finding her, but getting her beforehand and getting her so wrapped up in this that federal prosecutors have a great case now.
Chris, it seems like there'd be a whole host of charges here. What are they?
Well, the primary charge is going to be the account of material support to ISIS. But I do want to, as my friend here was saying, Tom, I want to commend the FBI for using this sensitive investigative technique of this undercover to thwart this terror plot. It does multiple things. First, in addition to thwarting this terror plot, it sends a message out there to those that are thinking of doing something similar. You may be talking to an undercover FBI agent when you're seeking out the opportunity to get the tools to commit your terrorist act against the United States. It is a deterrence. We want the bad guys to be nervous every time they're out there online, and doing that can suppress the opportunities for them. But the charges are going to be multiple. They're going to start off with those basic terrorism charges and then work from there. Right now, they're probably doing some debriefing. It's my understanding that she's being cooperative and discussing her activities with the FBI. And I think this is only the beginning of information that we're going to get from this particular investigation.
Speaking of that communication between the agents and Bowie, there was a number of exchanges that have been now released to the press or through the media. Here was one of the, as she was under surveillance, here was one of the exchanges that went back and forth. Bowie here says, "We definitely want to make sure the senators get killed for sure." The agent then agrees. Bowie then says, "That's the most important part. Destroying the building too, that's ideal, but getting to the senators." And the agent says that she needs something, suggests that she's going to need something to help her. And Bowie says, "Substantial, yeah. I want something that's going to do the job. I don't want to take this kind of risk and then have to have it kill, 2 or 3 people. What good is that?" This exchange, Tom, that's what does the job for incrimination.
Oh yeah, and it's a great job by this source with getting the information from her about what she's thinking about and what she wants to pull off. I mean, this is highly disturbing, and as Chris said, this is not going to be the last time this is going on. ISIS has their hands in the computer age and online world, and they understand how people get radicalized these days, and they tap into it. And this is a perfect example of it. But it's just going to take more of FBI's great work with keeping control of chatter like this on the internet to stop things like this in the future.
Yeah, it's really troubling. New York's Governor Kathy Hochul put out a statement in the aftermath reading, earlier this year, amid a rise in political violence and threats against public officials, we took steps to strengthen security at the state capitol and across the state government. She went on, while there is no immediate threat at this time, we will continue working closely with our law enforcement partners to protect New Yorkers and keep our communities safe. It strikes me when she says there's no immediate threat. I mean, this woman was groomed online, and I think that's what Americans need to take away here is Americans. This woman even says, as she's being questioned by investigators, yeah, I was waving an American flag on 9/11, and 10 years later, she's plotting the doom and destruction of a state capitol. Chris, to you on that.
Well, this online radicalization, this self-started plot against a soft government target, is just another reminder that ISIS-inspired lone actors remain a real threat. The issue that I have is with elected representatives like Governor Hochul that try to jump the gun on this to deflect from their own incompetence in protecting the citizens of New York by saying this is, they have no additional threats at this time. Let's have some politicians, some elected representatives, both Democrat and Republican, come out and call this what it is. It is a Sharia Islam threat against the United States. It's been imported in here. It's been fomented on our campuses among the youth in this area. And unfortunately, our elected representatives are refusing to stand in the breach and call it out for what it is. You're starting to see this take hold not just on campuses, but in neighborhoods, in local government. Heck, even here in the state of Mississippi, supposedly a Republican stronghold, they just appointed a Muslim individual into a position as a judge. Now they're trying to downplay that as this is just a judge, this is just nothing. It all starts out as something small and builds. And this is built over time with the import of this radical ideology coming in across our borders, particularly during the last administration.
It builds over time where this woman's waving a flag, rallying around our country, and 10 years later, she's a terrorist, a homegrown terrorist. Tom, to you on this, not only the cooperation, recognition from our communities about these seeds that are planted and the radicalization that's going on online, but it would be certainly helpful as well to get a bit more cooperation from our tech giants out there when law enforcement is identifying or seeing a person exercising. There's one thing to exercise your First Amendment rights. It's an entirely different thing when you see a thread running through your platform where somebody's plotting something deadly or a threat to national security. Yes?
No, Shannon, you are so right, and Chris will echo this. Our biggest hurdle that we had when I was in JTTF was getting to these tech companies and allowing us to get the information that we needed to either further an investigation, close an investigation, or start a surveillance on someone. That was always the biggest hurdle we had to go through. And it doesn't stop today. You think after all these online, cases that are going on and the threats and terror plots that have been thwarted, these tech companies would get on board and figure out that they are part of the problem if they don't help out law enforcement.
Tom Smith, Chris Hinkle, gentlemen, thanks so much for the conversation. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.